What I'm going to do is start with a brief introduction, sort of Israel-Palestine 101 in less than half an hour, and I'm going to follow that with a photo essay from my trip in this past October to the West Bank. And then I definitely want to leave time to talk about Gaza and what has just happened there, and an opportunity for questions. So wow, we have a lot to cover. What does it mean, let's start by asking, to be Palestinians living under Israeli occupation? Palestinians in the occupied territories are not citizens of Israel. They are not citizens of any state. They are stateless. Occupation is a word that is not published or mentioned in Israel. What does it mean? Well, it means living under military law. Palestinians have no rights. Palestinians are supposed to have at least the rights that every human being has under international law. But the facts on the ground are that they really have no rights. They have no freedom of movement, even within their own borders. They have very little freedom of speech. They have no free press. They are not free to leave, and in Gaza, they are not free. It is very difficult to leave from the West Bank. It's possible. In Gaza, it's not possible to leave, and it's not possible for others to come in. There is no freedom of association, and what does that mean? It means that, technically speaking, there is no right to form unions. There is no right to form political parties or to attend political meetings. So how do you organize? With graffiti on walls? Israel tolerates such organizing until it decides that it doesn't like the way things are going, at which point everyone involved, from candidates for political office right down to the people who have printed their campaign literature, goes to prison. There is no due process of law. Palestinians learn what the military rules are when they find themselves arrested and imprisoned or shot for violating those rules. The rules are not printed, they are not distributed, they are not taught, and they are not static. They change, but without notice. For example, curfews. And a curfew, by the way, is 24/7. It's around the clock, and Israel has imposed hundreds of them in the course of the occupation. But my understanding is that it has never announced the lifting of a curfew. The penalty for peeking out of your house, your window, to see if the curfew has been lifted may include being shot. And I visited a town in which a 17-year-old boy died for doing just that. There is no right to patch the roofs over their heads. To patch the roof requires a building permit. If homes are repaired or improved without a permit, they are listed for demolition. No building permit, however, has been issued to a Palestinian since the State of Israel was established. So if your home disintegrates, which it might do over a course of 60 years, you cannot legally rebuild. If your family expands and your children marry and start families of their own, where are they to go? You cannot add a floor to the top of your house, which is what people have been driven to do, legally, to accommodate your growing family. Because if you do, your home will be demolished. You will then be fined a sum of money that exceeds the cost of building a brand new home. That is the cost, it is called the cost of demolition. It's a fine for demolition. Once demolished, you are homeless, and you are homeless, period, for the indefinite future because, remember, no building permits are issued. If you rebuild your home, your new home will be demolished again. For 60 years, Palestinians have had to choose between patching the roof and becoming homeless. And this is why when you look at so many of these pictures, you see homes that look so slovenly, so abandoned, so uncared for, so unmaintained. By the way, this includes the Palestinians who live inside Israel itself, the so-called Israeli Arabs, who are actually Palestinians and who comprise 20% of the population and are citizens of Israel. They too do not get building permits.